Hi everybody. Okay, we are going to be making a Joseph sewing basket. This is for Bag a Day to give away as one of the prizes for her 1 million subscriber party. And I'm pretty excited about making this for her. So I've started out with, I'm starting out with 8 3/4 inch reed. And what I'm doing is I'm folding it at half, bad side in, and drawing a line to put my centers in. So that's the center. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to weight it down with my spoke and put all the pieces in a row. It doesn't matter if they're uneven right at this particular moment, but I'm going to put all the spokes, or should I say there we go. I'm going to put these all in here, and then I will show you the next step. I'll be back. Okay, I got them all set up, and as you can see, the line is going straight across. I got my spoke weight on here. I forgot to give you a list of what you will need. It's 3/4 inch flat. You'll need 8 cut 32 inches long. You'll need 9 cut 31 inches long. You'll need some 1/4 inch flat dyed reed, whatever colors you want. Number 2 round, and you'll need number 3 round cut 68 35 inches long. Okay, so that's the materials. Plus I'm using some seagrass cord, and also you'll need for tools, you'll need a spoke weight or something to weigh down your spokes. You'll need a spray bottle to keep your spokes damp. You'll need a couple of awls to manipulate, and different size clamps, dollar store specials. You'll need a pencil to mark your stuff, and you'll need some basket scissors or some really sharp scissors. And that's what you'll need to make this basket as far as materials go. So my next step is going to be to start putting in the spokes that go this way. And I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Okay, what I've done is, this is 3/4 inch, I'm sorry, back up. This is 3/4 inch, this is inch. I didn't have enough 3/4 inch to do it, so I'm doing it a little different. Now I drew a line in the middle of my weaver, my other spoke, in the center. Then I drew another line 5 inches out on either side. And what I did is go in and out, normal basket weave. And then I put the center line in between 4 and 4. We'll make our adjustments because some of them are wee-wah. And then the outer line is how big this needs to be. So we line that up there, and we line that up there. Okay? So that's your first spoke. Now I'm going to get some 1/4 inch, and we're going to start weaving the bottom to hold it together. And I'll show you how. Okay. I'm using 1/4 inch flat, and it's in the color red. Okay, so I'm basically going to do the opposite of what I did before to create our basket weave. Okay, and I'm going to have it stop right about there and push it up. This towel gets underneath there. Get it up as close as I can to the first spoke. Okay. Oh, sorry, dog alert. Then the next thing I'm going to do is weave it out. Oh, the dogs. Hold on one second. Okay. Alright, so let's pull this down. I had that a little bit wrong. Never filmed myself really making a serious basket before, so this is new. Okay. All right. so we're going to weave that in and out and in and out, making our adjustments, of course, because it all goes wee-wah when you're doing this. So we will get it all straightened out. Okay. Put a little bit more. All right, now let's fix these. This one needs to go over a little bit, over a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right, so then we're going to bend it, making sure that it stays within our line. And we're going to go the opposite. Over and under, over and under. And we have to make sure, I'm going to have to cut a little piece off. We have to make sure that it ends up coming, that we cut this particular spoke on the top. It has to be on the top, okay? Then we're going to go back with this one. Again, making our adjustments. And we're going to go to that one that we left on top, but we're going to go past it. And we are going to tuck it. Cut it right here. This one has to be on and under. Okay? So that one goes under here and kind of tucks away. Let's make some adjustments. One thing about basket weaving, you're always having to adjust as you go. I think that's kind of with anything, crochet or whatever. You kind of sometimes got to adjust things as you go. Okay, now we're going to take another one of these. And that one was under first, so this one's going over first. And we've got our middle line right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to push this up. Okay, and we're going to do that several times. I'll be back after I get some of this done. But basically the same thing. Next row is going to be the red 1/4 inch flat. And the next row after that will be one of the spokes. And we're going to do that all the way down. And I'll show you once I get this side done, and we'll flip it around and do the other side. I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to take my spoke weight off now. And I'm going to flip the basket around and do the other side. Okay, once again, making sure everything stays the way it's supposed to be. That's what these are for, is to scoot stuff around. But I never use them the proper way. I always use my fingernails, which is part of the reason my fingernails are so horrible. Okay, all right, so we got that. So now we need another red one. Okay, so that's over, so we're going to go under. Piece of fuzz off that. And with the red reed, it doesn't matter if you're using wrong side up or right side up or whatever, because once you flip it and do your bend here, it's going to be the other side of it anyway, so I'm going to clip that a little bit. Okay. Tighten that up there. And now we're going to do the opposite. And we're going to go right over the top of that one. Okay. So you're just basically tucking it on top of that other one. And then, well, I needed to cut it there, but there we go. Okay, there's our next red one in. Now we're going to go back to our spokes. And that one was over, so we're going to go under. Where's my side? There we go. Make sure your line is in between the two sets of 4 spokes. Okay, now it's time for red again. And we're going to want to end, you know, we have our 5th one in the center, and then 4 on either side. And you'll end with the wider of the spokes, okay, not the small red. Okay, so now let's do some red. Okay, that one was under, so we're going over. There we go. Do our bend and go back, making sure that we end on a top, which we are going to right there. I'm going to clip a little off though. Okay, do our adjustments, bend this one around, make our fold, and go right over top of the last row that we did. And we're going to want it to end underneath so we can hide our end. There we go. Sometimes you get these little things, you just kind of cut them off. I always use a lighter when I'm all done, like, you know, one of those long candle lighters, and go over it and get rid of all the little fuzzies, little pieces of reed that have come up. Okay, we need another big one. Okay, that one was under, so this one goes over. There's our middle line. Take that up so we hide the line on that side. Okay, now we're ready for another red one. Let's see if I can use one of these shorter ones. Yeah, that ought to do it. Okay, that one's over, so we're going under with this one. Scooch it up there, make sure it's tight. Okay, we're going to do our bend. Go opposite. We're going to cut it right there. And then we're going to come back, bend this one, and go right over the top of that end we put there. And I'm going to go down a couple just for stability reasons. Okay, we're going to do it right there. Okay, so here we go. And tighten that up under there. Make your adjustments. Okay. That one's over, so we're going to go under with our next big spoke. Hide that center line, 4 on each side. Scooch it up, scooch it up. That one's done. Okay, I got some of these long. Let me find the shorter one. There we go, this will work. Okay, that one's under, so we're going to go over with this. Make sure it's tight. Okay, do our adjustments there, make a bend, go opposite of the way you went before, and we're going to cut it off. Let's see, yeah, right here. Go back the other way and make your bend. Go up and over the top of that last spoke there, or weaver, I'm sorry. And that end has to go under to tuck it away. Okay, we're here on our last spoke, and then I'm going to show you, this is under, going over. Then I'm going to show you how to do our twining, because we have to twine around the bottom of this basket to hold everything together. Okay, there's the bottom of our basket. Okay, there's the very bottom. Now let me get some twining and soak it, and I will be back making adjustments. It looks pretty straight. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, we're going to do some twining. Now this is the number 2 round, and we want our ends to be uneven. Okay, so you want one longer than the other one. You're going to bend it in half like this, and take a pair of needle nose pliers and just kind of do that. It'll make it bend without cracking. Okay, so you're just going to kind of go like that. Makes it bend. Okay? Alright, so we want to start on an under spoke and kind of put that around there, and see that bend will, you know, make it easier for you to do this without it looping up or breaking. Okay, when you're twining, you always grab the one from on the left, not the one on the right. So the one on the left goes over and under. I did this. Okay, now I'll leave it. Okay, so the one on the left, D, over and under. This one goes over and under this way. Can you see what I did? I was messing up in the beginning, sorry. It's been a minute. I haven't weaved a basket in months. Okay. Now the corners are the tricky part. Okay, so if you were to take this one and weave it over here, it would just make a big ugly bend, you know. So what you have to do with this one is take this one over it and under. I spoke weights in my way. Okay, and then this one will go under and over to get around your corner. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing, over and under. One on the left is the one we use for going under. Always push it in. That one's a little loose. Yep. Okay, over and under, over and under. Over and under, over and under. Alright, so now we've come to this one. Now we can't do that, so we have to go under with this one, and then over to go around that corner. And then this one will go this way. Okay, let's move our, turn our basket. Okay. Alright, so the one on the left, which is the one here, that is the one that goes under, 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 and we're at a corner again. Okay, so this one goes under, this one goes over. Same process. And now we're going to make 3 rounds of this. So 3 times we're going to twine around the bottom of this basket. And I'm going to do that, and I will be back to show you how to end your twining. I thought I'd come back and show you how to add to it, because I've reached the end of the one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend that up, and I'm going to stick this underneath. And we're going to leave that to the end, okay? And continue on. And that's how you add. And then later on we'll just clip that and it'll be fine. Okay, but you just leave it for now. Alright, I'm going to weave my 3 rounds and I'll be back. Okay, I've got around 3 rounds. Now I don't want to go to this next one or it'll make 4. Okay, so I'm going to cut my reed. And we just leave that and worry about those later. Okay? Now the next thing we need to do, but I need my spray bottle. One second. Is I need to get everything wet. Because by now everything has gotten really, really dry. So I'm taking my spray bottle and spraying all the edges. Okay? Next thing we're going to do is called upsetting the spokes. And basically what you're doing is you're bending them up and over like this. And then you're going to take a pin, a clothespin or one of these pins. And don't forget to upset the ones in between. But we're going to upset 2 on either side. So there's 4. And we're going to put a clothespin on it. Okay, but we still have to bend these ones. We'll do that in a minute. Okay. That one's got a snag in it. That's okay. We will fix it later. Okay. And the 4th corner. We're bending 2 of the spokes. Doesn't look like this camera is looking down as good as it should. Bend 2 of the spokes that way, 2 this way. Hold them together with a clothespin or one of these from the Dollar Tree. Okay, now we have to upset these spokes as well, because the next step is doing our sides. Okay, so we go around and just bend them all. Okay, same over here. And same over here. Okay, now comes the fun part. Now we get to make decisions on color and if we want to put some seagrass in there or whatever it is we want to do. So I will be back to show you how to get that started. Okay, so now we've got our corners pinched up. I pinched these up too so I could take a break. But I want to wet everything, all the spokes all the way around, so we make sure they don't break. Okay, I'm going to start out with some red because I've got that already wet. Okay, so you want to start out with an over. This one was under, do you see? You want to start out with an over. And you're going to take one of your smaller clamps or clothespin or whatever it is you have and just do over and under, tucking it down. Come to your corner, let go loose of the corner until you get around it, because we've got to get up about 4 rows before we can get rid of all the clothespins. Okay, make sure it goes around that corner nice. And clamp it down again. Okay, and then you're going to let this loose, do the same, over, under. Those ones I'm just going to let be. Okay. Got to our corner. Over, under. Over, under. Okay. Clamp this back down again. Of course, everything's going to go haywire. Okay. We can adjust this once we get our next row in. Over, under, over, under. Got back to the corner. Over, under, over, under. Okay, and then we just continue on like this. And I'll go around one row so I can show you how to tuck your end. Over, under, over, under, over, under. Go to your next corner. Over, under, over, under. Oops, let's get in the way. Clamp it back down. Okay. Now this is where we started. You see the end? We're going to go over that end and go 4 down. 1, tuck it on top. 2, 3. Well, actually it ends up being 3. Not 4, 3. And then we're going to cut that and tuck it under. Okay? And we just continue on. I will go up 4 rows, like I said, where we can get rid of the clamps. And you can use any colors. You can use wide reed, short or thin reed, seagrass. You can do some more twining if you want. You could put ribbon or yarn or anything you want in there. But in this one, I'm going to stick with reed and seagrass. And I'm going to go up 4 rows in reed, using as many colors as possible because this is Joseph's coat of many colors. So we want to use as many colors as possible. Okay? And when you start your next row, you flip it over and do it on the other side so you don't have bulk all on one side. Okay? So let me grab a thick piece. Here's a blue. Okay. Reed is just like yarn. You see the faded spots and the long spots? That's okay. And you can dye your reed with Kool-Aid, with food coloring, whatever would stain your hands will stain reed. Okay? They also have some really good basket dyes out there. RIT dye works as well, but to be honest with you, RIT dye kind of dries out your reed, which is some of the reason why this is, gets frayed if the reed gets dried out. Okay, I'm going to clamp my corner back again and continue on, under and over. Okay, and I'm using, as you can tell, I'm using, oh, that's probably 1/2 inch. I'm just using scraps from other baskets because I always dye a lot of reed when I dye it because it is a messy process, just like dyeing yarn. Once you got all the stuff out, do it. And do lots of it. Okay. Over, under, over, under. Over, under, over. Okay. Clamp that back up. Okay, I'm going to make our adjustments as we go. Okay, just kind of pull loose so that's straightened out. Over, under. And you see this pulled loose, but all we have to do is tuck it a little and get it back to where it's supposed to be. Okay? And we're at a corner again. Got to keep turning that basket. Oh, Lord. There we go. We got a big splinter there. I want to get rid of that. Okay. Over, under. And you're always going to adjust as you go. So put that one on top. Okay. Make sure you're getting it up tight and you're pushing those ones in so they stay shaped. And over, under. One thing I failed to mention is when you're doing these weavers on the side, make sure that your smooth side of your reed is facing outward. Otherwise, you're going to have more frayed parts. You want the frayed parts inside as much as possible. That's just something that happens with basket weaving. You get frayed parts. Okay, we get this corner. Yeah, you can also dye it with Kool-Aid. You can dye it with onion skins or blueberries or anything that leaves color on your hands will leave color on the reed as well. Okay, so you can go all natural, which I've done many times. You can use black walnut. You can use just about anything that will leave color on your hands will leave color on the basket. Okay, so here we are at the end. Clip it and tuck it. Okay, and then go around and make sure everything is the way it should be. You have to push it in a little bit here and there. Okay, I'm going to continue up 4 rounds, and then we can get rid of these clamps and put in some seagrass. So I'll show you how that comes out. I'll be back. Okay, I wove up quite a bit because I didn't want the seagrass down too far. I wanted it more up here. So I just basically took a bunch of different sizes and different colors and wove them into our basket. Okay, same technique that I told you. Now we're going to use seagrass. This is what seagrass looks like. You buy it in like a donut. Okay, and same principle as when you're twining, you want one end to be longer than the other. And you're going to take the seagrass and loop it. Probably there. And do the same thing that we did before. Taking the one in front and putting it behind. Get to the corners, they get a little tight. Okay. Hope I cut enough. If not, I gotta take it all out. I think I do. Okay. We're just taking the one in front and putting it behind our spoke, pushing it down, one in front, behind our spoke, push it down, all the way around. Just like when you're twining, which I showed you in the beginning when we went around the bottom. You can make an entire basket out of seagrass if you want to. I like seagrass. It gives that natural look. Can you see? Turn around so you can see. We'll go around a couple times. Hopefully I cut enough to get around. Let's get it hung up. There we go. Okay, we're coming up to the end. I'm just going to continue around because I'm going to do a few rows of the seagrass. And I'll show you how to end it once we get there. This is tough on the hands. Most definitely. But see, there's 2 rows. Doesn't it look nice? I think that looks really pretty. Okay. I sure hope Crystal likes it. I was very excited to be able to make something for her 1 million subscribers. I thought that was so awesome. She's such a wonderful teacher. Okay, now when you get to the end, what you're going to do is bend it around and go underneath. Okay, and then we have to add another. So that would be the one in front. That would be the one behind. Let me get some more seagrass. I'll be right back. Okay, got another piece of seagrass. Get my ends. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to bend this one inward and start anew. All those extra dibs and dabs that are sticking on the inside when you get done with your basket, you just cut them out. I cut out, if you can see inside, I cut those ones that were loose at the bottom the ones that when we added twining, I just cut those out because they get in the way. But you have to make a good portion of your basket before you can do that. Okay, I'm getting all tangled. Hold on. It's looking pretty nice, huh? Yeah, after I get done doing this, because I have to stand to weave a basket, I can't sit down. I've tried and I just can't, I'm not coordinated. So after making a basket, my body is tired, my legs are tired, my hands hurt. Making a basket is a big undertaking. It really is. Let's see. Should I continue? Yeah. I need to. I got 3 rounds, so I have to have 3 rounds here as well. Basket's getting a little dry. It doesn't really matter so much with when you're doing the seagrass. But oop, I just pushed my towel. But it does matter when you're bending them up and all that kind of stuff. Okay, we're gonna let that piece stay in there, and we're gonna scooch that piece up and pull it down. And let's see, I need a couple more feet. I'll be back. Okay. Alright, so I stuck it. Where did I stick it? I stick it right there. Okay, so I'm going to stick it in this next one so that comes out in the right spot. And make sure we have 3 all the way around. And you want to shape your basket too, especially your corners, as you go. Okay, we're getting down here to the 3. So let's see, shall we do it this way? Okay. Just stick it in and cut it later. And this one's gonna go in here. Okay, there we go. Now I just gotta cut off all these ends. Wrong position for this. The great thing about basket weaving is you can use your scraps. Like I can use that little piece of seagrass to go on top of a brim of a basket. All those kinds of things. It's pretty cool. Okay. Dump that out. Alright, there we have it. 3 rows of seagrass. Alright, next step is more weaving. I'll be back. Okay, just like before, make sure you put it in make sure I got the right side. Nope. Okay. It's got to be on the top, and you just go over and under. I'm going to just spritz my basket. It's a little dry. Push it down in there. basket's very dry, so things are starting to pop out. So I'm going to get this done. And spritz it and fix my little ends. Alright, so, oh, sorry. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. We had a delivery. God forbid someone should go down our street, right? Alright. Let me pick out some colors. I'm just getting my basket wet. This is how you do it with a spray bottle. And I'll be back. Okay. My next color is going to be this green that we used down here. Okay. Bend those corners good. Alright, we're coming up on our end here. Let's get rid of that clip. Okay, go over top of that. Make sure you cut it off so that it will go underneath and hide. Okay, there's that round. Alright, let's see what should we do next. I think we'll do red. Yeah, let's do a red one. Alright. Start on a different side. Same process. Do your corners real good. Switch it down. Corner. Another corner. Alright, we've come around to where we started. Alright, we're going to nip it right about there. Put it on top of the other one and hide the end. Oh, it's looking so pretty. Isn't it looking pretty? Joseph's Coat of Many Colors. This is technically a sewing basket, but I think it'd be really good for a yarn basket. Can't talk. For a yarn basket. All right, let's see. Let's use some. Let me see. All right, I'm gonna use this color. And you're going to weave up until you got about 2 inches left on the top. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going, doing the same thing, over, under, and tucking my ends. Making sure my corners are corners. And I will meet you when I get to the top where we got to do the twining. That's how we end the top of the basket, is with twining, like we did on the bottom of the basket, and also like we did with the seagrass. Okay, so I'm going to add some more colors, and I will be back. Okay, we're back. Now I'm going to spray the basket down again. Actually, I think I'm just going to put it right into the bucket of water. Let that soak for a second. Now this is twining again. So we're using our number 2 weight. Let me get a piece out of here. Alright, once again, we leave one longer than the other end. Take our pliers, our needle nose pliers, and crimp it down on there a couple times. That keeps it from splitting and makes it bend easy. Okay? Alright, so just go anywhere. We're going to do 3 rows of twining. And basically what you do is you take the one that's in front and you put it in the back. Push it down. One that's in front, put it in the back. One that's in front, put it in the back. And that's what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to do 3 rows of this. Those corners you got to get down real tight. Make sure it's bent. Okay. Once again, you got to push it down. Sometimes it'll fight with you on these corners, so you got to... I probably should use an awl instead of tearing up my nails. But anyways, let's continue on. One that's in the front goes in the back. One that's in the front goes in the back. I'm up on another corner here. See, that's what that twining looks like. Okay. Now this is where you gotta push down tight. As you can see, I've already ruined my nail polish just doing this. Okay. Oops. Alright. And you gotta kind of untangle your ends because they get intertwined. And this little bit of splitting ain't gonna matter because we're tucking those ends in after we do our twining. Oops. Okay, one in the front goes in the back. And I'm gonna do 3 rows of this, and I'll be back. Okay, we got all 3 rows done all the way around. Now what we're gonna do is I gotta soak it in the bucket again and bend these over and tuck them in on the inside. And then we get going on the fancy stuff. So far this is what we got. What do you guys think? It's a nice sized basket. Very pretty. The colors, the bottom, it's real pretty. And now comes the fancy stuff. Alright guys, I'll be back in a second and show you how to push these down in and tuck them. And that I definitely have to use an awl for. And then the next video, I will show you about the fancy trim and the lid for it. Because after weaving this big old basket, my hands are tired. So I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, I went around and folded all of them down and tucked them in. But I wanted to kind of show you what I did. is I bent this over and I took my awl and lifted these other ones up and tucked it behind. I can't get a good camera angle to show you guys, so that's the best I can do. But you just take your awl and kind of turn it, or your flathead screwdriver, and kind of turn it to the side so it lifts this up, and then you can bend this down and feed it in. And then this is the edge of your basket. Okay, now we're going to get to the fancy part, and this is definitely going to be video 2, but this is what we got so far. Here's the bottom of our basket. That twining we did, and the seagrass, and all the colors, and then there's the edge so far. And now the rest is going to be all the fancy stuff. That's going to be in the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I can't wait to give this to Crystal. I'm so excited to be a part of it. And congratulations, Crystal, on your 1 million subscribers. If anybody deserves it, she does. Alright, guys. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next video. Much love, my friends.